How are we doing today, guys? It's Jesse with the Common Man Corpus Christi, your CBD guy. I'm here today with Dr. Laurie Turner. She's running for Mar Regent, and she's going to tell you a little bit about herself. Dr. Turner?
Hi, thank you for having me. It's a great opportunity to always want to get out and get the message out to the voters. You know, especially during COVID time, there's not a whole lot of opportunity to research and really know who your candidates are. So really thank you for this opportunity and wish you well. Let's see a little bit about me. I actually spent most of my early childhood in California, so I was born and spent my early years there. And then I was actually raised and grew up in Washington State.
Nice.
So I'm from up there. I'm from a small town. I'm a small town farm girl. So can you keep up?
Yeah.
Okay, so I am from Wahkiakum County.
Okay. Wahkiakum County?
Wahkiakum County, in a little town called Cathlamet.
Okay.
I lived in Smockaway Valley, off the Alokaman River.
Nice.
Can you say that?
Alokaman. I had water in my mouth. Do it one more time for me.
All right, so I'm from Wahkiakum County.
Oh no, I meant just meant the river.
Alokaman.
Alokaman.
There you go,
Yeah.
Alokaman. So obviously very Native American.
Oh, obviously,
Oh,
yeah.
yep. So I grew up in a small town off the Columbia River.
Nice.
And my high school senior year, we had 32 students.
Oh, nice.
So I'm a small girl, small town, and with big ideas. So, yep, I got my bachelor's in criminal justice.
Okay.
Yep, I did an internship and worked a little bit with the CASA and correctional department. So I'm a very law and order type of person. I went on and got my master's in political science.
Nice.
I have a master's in public administration, it turns out to be. And then I've moved here about 17 years ago, met my husband, so forth, and really wanted out of the rain.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I have family here, actually from Cow Allen.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
So we moved down here about 17 years ago and got my teaching certificate at TAMU, and then married, started a family, and then I went back to school and got my doctorate
Nice.
in education leadership and research with an emphasis on education policy. So I've been in the public education for about 16 years.
Awesome.
Yep. And love teaching.
That's great.
I got a doctorate, but I'm still in the classroom.
Awesome.
I'm not ready to get out of the classroom. I've been teaching American history for several years, and now I switched over to Texas history.
Oh, cool. All right.
Yes, I'm actually on the Nueces County Historical Commission, and my job or my goal is always to preserve local history.
Awesome.
Yeah, when Harvey came through and blew through, I have a friend who teaches art at Port Aransas.
Okay.
And her and I came up with a Harvey project, and we had 16 schools, including Rockport, 5th grade through college level, and they did art. It was called narrative art,
Okay.
and 521 pieces we had.
Nice.
Yep. So the library, Nueces County Library downtown, they are holding all the artwork. So we have ownership of the artwork. And a year after Harvey, we had a special celebration at the library where we presented all the artwork.
That's really cool.
But not only did they draw the art, but they told their narrative, what their art meant to them.
Nice. That's really
It's
cool.
very,
That's
yes.
that's awesome.
Yep.
I like that.
And right now I'm working with the Library of Congress to archive it and have them have it as a digital copy so that the whole world can see.
That'll be really cool.
Yeah, and there's nothing out there from students' point of view.
Yeah, that's very true.
Before, during, and after the
Yeah.
hurricane from the whole coastal bend area.
Yeah, I was saying that's a great little way to kind of put the coastal bend a little more on the map than what we already are too. So that's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's important to, parents, we get caught up when we have tragedy and chaos. We get kind of tied up trying to keep the family floating. Sometimes we don't get to stand out and find out exactly what's happening with our kids.
Yeah, that's very true.
And I do that as a teacher. I'm very student oriented. My students' achievement and their successes is always on the forefront.
That's good.
Yep.
So what's some of the reasons? I was going to say, what's some of the reasons why you're running for Regent? Is that some of the reasons why?
Yes, student-centeredness, student achievement, student success. About 4.5 years ago, I was appointed by Governor Greg Abbott to serve on the State Board of Educator Certification. And as a board member, we oversee every teacher prep college and program that certifies all administrators, school leaders, educators, and everyone that is in front of your child. So it's very important that we have very rigorous curriculum as well as in-depth evaluation of the programs, because you are always looking at outputs.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with Del Mar College. You want to look at the outputs.
Right.
If the college is not being successful, then there got to be some changes. And when you have about 16% of the students graduating, what's going on?
That's a real problem.
When you're losing 60% or greater, students are not coming back after their freshman year. Why is that? Are they transferring on? Are we losing them? So some of the things that I really want to have a greater in-depth knowledge of. And so as a board member and being in education for a long time, I come to the board with a standpoint of program development, outputs.
Nice. That makes sense.
Yep. So
getting people to graduate and stuff like that.
Getting people to graduate, getting them back to work.
Yeah.
I mean, why go to college if you're not going to
Absolutely.
get,
yeah.
I mean, job is always the outcome.
Yeah.
Whether you're going to move on to a university or you're going to take a certificate or an AA degree, is all about getting me to work.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we have veterans there, we have displaced workers, especially with COVID. I mean, you're going to see a huge increase of people trying to figure out what the next step is. And usually that's going back to school.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure we have sound programs that's not going to take them 3 years, not going to get them $20,000 in debt or greater. We want them in and out.
Absolutely.
We want to be the center of economic development in our community. We want to be part of that economic development. We should be focusing and working with industries, making sure we have programs that lead into those industries. We want industries to be part of the programs, whether financially.
Yeah.
Financially, we don't. Taxpayers can only pay so much, and obviously, you've been focusing on taxes. Taxpayers are tired. They're working. They tired of pumping out more money.
Especially if we're not getting any results from the school.
Or very slim results. There's some results. Just not as high as we would like them. Not as high as they used to be.
Talk about that a little bit. How do you know anything about the history as far as like how far we've declined and stuff like that with Del Mar compared to what we were even like 10 or 15 years ago?
Well, I've seen paperwork and I've seen graphs and charts and so forth.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's just been flatlined.
Right.
But you have to also look at what is required by the state reporting. They have their own reporting methods. They only ask for a certain amount of information, and sometimes colleges just get stuck in what is just needed for accountability, but accountability for their licensing and so forth, not accountability to the taxpayer.
Gotcha.
And especially with dual credit, when House Bill 5 came through a few years ago, really kind of put public education on a different foothold, and where there's more opportunities leading into Del Mar and craft learning, welding, and the learning center there. And so I really want to know the percentage of dual credit students versus real freshmen.
Actual legitimate on-campus freshmen and that kind of stuff. And that's just information that's hard to get unless you're on the inside.
They aren't requiring that because, one of the problems, because my son did this, he goes to, he graduated in 2012, but he was part of their university prep program, and he went over to the university as a freshman. Well, really a high school junior.
Yeah.
But the professors don't receive that information just because of privacy issues.
Yeah, of course.
So as far as they know, that they have a list of people that's enrolled in their class, and they really don't know who's really a high school student and who's not. I mean, that information is just not.
Yeah, it's not readily available.
Yes, and so we have some barriers to that, but overall, though, just without naming names, I'd like them to pull that information.
Of course.
For one, we just really need a liaison person that really works well with the public schools. But we really want them, when you talk about certification and degree plans, we want them to enter Del Mar, but we also want them to finish out their degree plans with Del Mar.
Of course.
And so some of that I'm not sure if they're just not doing that third year and just moving on because they have enough credits to bypass some of those early stages. They can enter university as a sophomore and so forth. After they do their testing in their initial semester, then they can reevaluate their standing. So I'm not sure if they're just bypassing that step and just not taking it. So we really, without, saying anything negative about the college, there's just a lot of unanswered questions.
So because I know you guys are kind of running it as a ticket, you're all running together.
We all have our strengths.
Yes.
I'm the curriculum evaluation. I'm coming in with that strength. John Wilson's coming in with his financial background. And then we have Coach Flanagan, because he's coming from the university perspective. So we have 3 perspectives. And we believe that those perspectives can really help move the college forward. And so, yeah.
And with you guys, because my understanding is it's a 6-year term, right?
Yes,
you guys get elected in. So you guys as a group and everything else, what are some of your goals once you get elected? What are some of the changes? What are some of the specific individual things you guys are
I'm
going
a data
for?
person.
Okay.
So before changes can even be made, I want to look at the data. Real numbers, real data. I want to do a complete financial audit. I want to know where every cent goes to, especially concerning the South Campus.
Yes.
I want to know what has been spent and what is still needed. What are the bonds? Exactly when everything comes through. I want all the numbers, because it's hard to get all the numbers. I mean, you can file for open records
requests.
Yeah,
and stuff like that,
but it's still kind of hard to get what I want.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of get what they're willing to give you versus
they're giving you numbers that the state's requiring, not really the data that I want.
No, that makes sense.
And so after you do your financial audits, and then I want to do a program audit as well, and all the support services. I just want to know the whole financial means of all the campuses put together, because there's really going to be 4 campuses. We have 3 campuses building the 4th one. And really want to look at our debt. There's rumors, I've been told, I have not seen, but as they say that Del Mar is about $300 million in debt, working through bonds and credit.
Wow.
Now these numbers, again, I have not seen it, but
just speculation at this point.
I want to see that.
Absolutely.
I want to see all our debt ratio and everything else that goes with it. So before you can even go to a second level to really make planning and so forth. And I do want to look at all the programs. I want to do a complete needs assessment. Does the programs all have everything that they need? Because I also heard rumors some of those buildings at the campuses still don't have Wi-Fi. How can you teach in modern day without Wi-Fi?
That's very true.
So I'm really concerned about that, and I'm not a person who likes to tear, I'm a historical person, so I don't like tearing down buildings.
Good.
I want to see, but again, you have to be cost effective.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, so if that's the only way, but putting in Wi-Fi, is that cheaper than tearing it down and building another building?
Very true.
So you really want to do those analysis and, and be comfortable with that. But before decisions are made, the board needs all the information.
Yeah.
So apparently, we were told by personnel, I'll leave it like that, personnel that they're planning on demolishing 5 buildings at the East Campus. Well, some of the board members didn't know that.
Yeah.
Some
I
of
think Sean had mentioned something about that.
I even went to a professor that I'm friends with, I serve on the board with.
Yeah.
And he only knew of 1. So he was concerned too that, so we already have plans to demolish buildings, but who's voted on it?
Yeah, nobody's voted on it.
Where's the cost analysis?
Yeah.
So we're just really concerned about some of that.
Awesome.
Wasteful spending.
Always a big thing.
It is, and I'm, being in public education, we have had to learn to work with less.
Yeah, work within a budget.
Yeah, and that budget changes every year depending on taxes and so forth. So
Absolutely.
I understand all that. So, but yeah, I think us three and the board members that are on there, I think we can work as a really good team to move Del Mar forward. But I just think that we need the data,
Absolutely.
and then we use the data to make adjustments.
Awesome.
You know, if we have to merge programs together, revamp them, revitalize some of these programs. Last thing I want to do is cut programs. But if you only have 1 or 2 people in there for the last 5 years, what's the point?
Yeah, that's very true.
What are we paying you for?
Very true.
So yeah, so everything, you know, again, I'm a data person.
Awesome.
So we want to make sure that we use our resources and taxpayers' money. You are the investors.
Yes, absolutely.
We are the investors.
Absolutely, all
and
of
we
us.
want to make sure that everything's spent correctly.
Awesome. Well, Dr. Turner, what's the best way for people to get a hold of you if they want to reach out or if they've got any more questions or anything like that?
Oh, they can always reach out on Facebook.
Okay.
We have a Facebook page as well as a website. You can always go to www.makedelmarbetter.com, or you can look up Laurie J. Turner. You can always find me on Facebook. So I appreciate your time. Thank
Awesome.
you so much.
Appreciate you coming in, Dr. Turner.